So I recently got my 12th ingot in the Scarlet Enclave raid. I bought 7,000 gold worth of mats. I finished the legendary quest line to get my Ashbringer on my rep paladin. I finally get the weapon, and right when I was ready to show the world that I was going to be the top DPS in Season of Discovery, Blizzard puts out this post. A first ever Shockadin tier set gets added into the game. Now, to tell you guys what this spec is, it's a niche pally build that was mainly played in PvP at first, but it became so popular in SoD that Blizzard decided to make it a PvE spec in the game. They first added a ZG5 set for it, and now they've given an official 6 set from the 20-man Scarlet Enclave raid now. Keep in mind, we are 4 weeks in to Phase 8 of Season of Discovery, by the way, when they added this set into the game. How it works is whenever you wholly shock the target, you get a buff called Sunlight for 10 seconds, and any melee abilities or auto attacks that you press while this buff is active will deal additional Sunlight damage, like a lot of Sunlight damage. In fact, this build does so much damage in full BIS, the Sims have it above my fully BIS Ashbringer Rep Paladin. How is that possible? This class scales with attack speed, so because sunlight damage doesn't scale off weapon damage, you're going to want to attack as fast as humanly possible, and then maybe throw in some extra attack procs like Wind Fury, Hajj, etc. This is why the BIS weapon for a Shockadin is actually the Hungering Cold from Naxxramas, a 1.2 attack speed weapon that has an extra attack proc chance. It makes it the perfect weapon for this class. In my opinion, gearing classes like this that have unique hodgepodge combinations of gear to achieve their full BIS is one of the more fun things you can actually do in all of World of Warcraft. This type of gearing reminds me of my hardcore shaman tank challenge that I did, where most of the items in the game that were BIS for me, nobody else even wanted. I enjoy gearing these types of characters, so I had to make a decision. Was I gonna try and do this? Was I gonna ditch my Ashbringer and become a Shockadin? Absolutely not. I worked way too hard to get the Ashbringer, so what I decided to do was make another Paladin. Plus, I checked how much the Ashbringer sold for at the vendor, and apparently it's not worth anything. I wanted to boost this character as fast as humanly possible, and you know what they say, if you want something done in life, do it yourself. So, I'm gonna boost myself. Everything was going extremely well, and then I remembered, I'm a streamer on a PvP server. After getting ganked for about an hour, I had to call half the server to come to our aid. He's taking out my ults. He's taking out my ults. He's just killing my ult over and over here. Dude, look at all the people we have out here helping defend now. Thank you, guys. We fought off the griefers, and after a few hours, I had a level 60 Shockadin in 6 hours played. I also made about 4,000 gold selling the other 3 slots in my group while I was boosting, so I decided to hit the auction house. Checking out the BIS list, there's a couple things that you could buy that are actually BOEs that are fully BIS for a Paladin. Number 1 was the trinket, the ruby brooch. That's about 1,200 gold, so I went ahead and got that. I went ahead and picked up a Libram of Sanctity as well, because that was about 200 gold. Of course, you're going to need 4 set Scarlet Enclave, so you can get the weekly done and get the disguise and zone in and get your piece of the chalice. So I went ahead and picked up 4 pieces of Scarlet Enclave. That was about 200 gold. I picked up a Karaji Silk Cloak because it had hit as well as spell damage on it. Also, Speedstone Trinket because faster attacks equal more damage. The rest of the slots, I just decided to pick up cheap greens for, so I could apply runes on every slot. Then I remembered, crap, I'm gonna have to do the Paladin questline again to unlock Wings and a Horn. Also, I don't have Resurrection. The best thing about getting boosted was that you end up being revered with the Argent Dawn, so you can go ahead and get a tune for Nax very cheaply. Also, Valor can be traded from your other characters, so I had some extras on my main that I just sent over. Then there's a necklace and a ring from ZG that's full BIS, so we sent that, and what do you know? The ring as well as the necklace drop. We went ahead and did the Nightmare Dungeons, which I got the Scroll of Binding Light, which was the item I was going for. Of course, I hard-rezzed it, so I went ahead and copped that and insta-equipped that. I went ahead and did an AQ10. The Mantle of Horosoth dropped, which is kind of like a Grand Crusader from Naxxramas, which is really good. High intellect and spell damage. We ended up getting that. And now the gear was starting to look really, really good. We only had a couple pieces of Scarlet gear that we needed to replace. After that, we went right into Naxxramas, and I knew right away what I wanted. I wanted the Hungering Cold and the ring. Those are my forever BIS items on the Shockadin. So we went through it. And a Widow's Remorse drop, which is like my 3rd BIS. I really wanted to win this. I lost the roll to a Warlock. And then I told this Warlock, like, yo, man, this is not your BIS. Like, why did you roll on this? After about like 30 minutes of going back and forth with him, he finally decided to give it to me. So I actually have a pretty good weapon now, which is great. I told him that if the Hungering Cold dropped, I would trade him back the Widow's Remorse. So We ended up solving that. The Death's Bargain ended up dropping, which is a pretty good shield. 1 crit, had some spell damage on it, and 8 intellect, so I ended up taking that. Of course, it was better than the green shield that I had. Probably going to end up using that until I get the shield off Balnazar. So after going through the whole raid, we ended up getting a couple good items, but this is what I was here for, KT. And you won't believe it, but the Hungering Cold dropped and 4 rings. So I had a pretty high chance of winning one of those, but there was one other guy who reserved the THC. And when it came time to roll, you won't believe it, but I lost the roll. 17. Dude. I'm still sad about this. Good thing I got the Widow's Remorse from the Warlock though, so we'll just have to keep trying. We'll get it next time. I ended up rolling the 4th highest on the ring and I got to get one. So we at least got the ring out of the way on the very first Naxxramas run. We got a couple of upgrades. Just like that, the Shockadin was starting to come online. We're only 16 hours played at this point, and we're looking really good. Despite some of the ups and downs in the gearing process so far, I was loving Shockadin, a melee casting hybrid DPS with all instant cast abilities. I never thought that I would love this type of class design so much. You're insanely mobile and bursty, and your melee attacks are consistently resetting your spells. There's almost no downtime. It's just raw, non-stop blast. Ashbringer is cool in its own way, but this right here is peak class design dopamine laced with fentanyl. Okay, we're almost fully pre-bissed. Time to go into Scarlet Enclave with 1 day played. You know, this class doesn't really take off until you get the new 3.5 set bonus, so I'm not expecting to do top DPS or anything until I get some gear. This class was feeling really good. I was middle of the pack in DPS and just pre-bis gear. A lot of the other people in this raid have set bonuses already, so they should technically be doing more damage than me. I ended up winning the helmet and the gloves despite 3 other people reserving them.
Sardaco, Chimney, and Atyash has MS.
I won with the 37. I had a 33% chance to win both of them, and I won both. So now I have my 2 set. So once I got the 2 set, of course, I immediately went and cashed it in. I came right back, and my damage shot way up. Having this 2 set was a 30% DPS increase in holy damage, which is massive. Now I'm doing a consistent like 6 to 7k DPS on pull, and this class is so much fun, and I am blasting. I was blasting so hard in the raid, but then we ended up running into a problem. We didn't have enough healing to keep progressing in the raid. I had heard that Shockadins could get the Dominus rune on their shoulder and make it so all the damage they deal would heal the target of their beacon. So I offered to do this by becoming a DPS healer hybrid to try to help out with healing in the raid. It did drop my DPS a little, but I was actually able to keep the tank alive, no problem. Shockadin is by far one of the highest hybrid DPS healers in the game. When we got to Caldor, I decided to take the Consecration healing rune, which heals anyone standing inside of the Consecration. Most of us are stacked on this fight, so my Consecration was doing a massive amount of healing. Matter of fact, just look at how much damage and healing I'm doing on this Caldor fight. 6k DPS and over 1k healing. I just love how fun this class is to play and how versatile it can be at helping out your raid. So that was it. I cleared every raid in the game except for Caldor on Scarlet Enclave and gotten a fully pre-bissed out Shockadin simming 10k DPS in only 1 day and 6 hours played. I have to say, this is the most fun I've had playing World of Warcraft in a really long time. The unique playstyle and gearing makes Shockadin insanely fun to play and even more fun to try and get the gear for. It has an easy rotation and you can play it as a pure DPS or a really, really good off healer that heals by doing damage. If you're thinking about playing Season of Discovery or leveling an alt soon, I would highly recommend this class if you're trying to min-max your fun while playing World of Warcraft. I'm still going to be raid logging on this character, and I'm hoping to get 8 of 8 Scarlet Enclave gear and the Hungering Cold soon so I can blast in the Scarlet Enclave and try to get 99s on every fight. If you're interested in joining me, please send me a follow on twitch.tv/Sardaco, and I will see you in the next one.